YouTube and Patreon, mistakes made and lessons learned. That's our topic for the day. So today I want to discuss some changes coming to the channel because, again, this particular episode is going to be about mistakes I've made along the way regarding YouTube and Patreon, lessons learned, and things I want to change. Let's start with the most obvious change. Of course, the elephant in the room is I have a new YouTube banner, new YouTube logo. Since I wanted to change some things regarding the channel, I thought, it was time for a new look for the channel. I thought, if you want to start over, start anew. I'd had the same YouTube banner forever, so I gimped a new YouTube banner. I hope you guys like it. I'm not a graphics artist by any means. I have some pretty novice skills using things like GIMP, but I'm pretty happy with the banner. Feel free to let me know what you think, of course, in the show comments. So you will notice a new YouTube banner. You will also notice a new Patreon banner. That is, again, some of the obvious changes. Also, the video itself, you guys notice the new intro, the new OBS overlays. Open Broadcaster Software OBS is what I use to create these videos. You notice the new lower third at the bottom, the new DT logo. Nice changes, right? Nice changes to be sure, but they're superfluous changes, right? I want to talk about some big changes that I have planned going forward. First, though, let's talk about some of the struggles I've had, some of the mistakes made that I've had. I've been doing this channel for 11 months now. Actually, today marks 11 months I've been doing this YouTube channel, so not even a year doing the YouTube channel. Very much a YouTube noob, right? Very much a novice at all of this video making and editing and audio editing and all this. Everything that goes with making a YouTube channel. Still very much a YouTube noob. Same thing with Patreon. I've only had a Patreon account for, 6 months probably. Don't know anything about Patreon. I'm really disappointed in myself, actually, at how poor I've managed my Patreon page. So let's discuss some of this. The biggest thing I've probably failed at in the first 11 months of doing this channel is I have not been engaged with the ever-growing community surrounding this channel, right? We have a really great community behind this channel that's growing very rapidly, and I am not as engaged with you guys as I should be, especially regarding social media. The reasons for this are many, but the obvious one is lack of time. I work a lot of hours at real jobs, outside of what I do on the YouTube channel. I don't have much free time at all. The little bit of free time I have, I spend usually making content for the channel and doing things like playing with social media. Kind of takes away from creating the content from the channel. So part of that is a lack of time. I need to do a better job managing my time, though, and finding time to be engaged with the community around this channel, because you guys are really what drive the channel, right? Without the community, this is nothing. I would have no subscribers, no viewers. This would all die tomorrow without the community, and I need to treat you guys better than what I have been treating you guys. Another problem is, what social media platforms do I engage with you guys on? There's too many social media platforms. Very early on in the channel, well, pretty much as soon as I started the YouTube channel, I never engaged on social media before. I don't like the concept of social networks. So I've never had any kind of social network accounts prior to starting this YouTube channel. When I started the YouTube channel, I signed up over on both Facebook and Twitter. And in Facebook in particular, I got a pretty good following on Facebook kind of quickly. But it's not where I wanted to be. I didn't like Facebook as a company. I really didn't like Facebook as a product. And ultimately, when Facebook had the privacy scandals, it came out that they were data mining everybody and all that. I had to leave Facebook behind. I left, that community behind, and I had a lot of followers over on Facebook. I apologize, but I cannot be on Facebook. I cannot recommend you guys be on Facebook, so I had to leave Facebook behind. And since I deleted Facebook from my life, I deleted Twitter from my life pretty much the same day, because Twitter, very much similar in many regards as Facebook. So left those behind. Where else can I engage you guys as far as a social network? Well, also very early on in the channel's history, I started a Discord server. Now that Discord server I did not create for engaging with you guys. It's not a place, where I thought I'd hang out every day and chat with you guys. I had the Discord channel there because I needed the voice channel feature in Discord to talk with people in-game, especially live streaming, if I wanted to do any kind of live game streams. So that is really why I have the Discord channel. I didn't create it to hang out there and chat with people. It's not something that, quite frankly, interests me that much. It's not something I enjoy. I don't log into my Discord channel very often at all. I do apologize for that, but again, that's not really what I created that channel for. I know right now if I logged into Discord, there'd be probably several people there chatting away, and I will try to make it a point to get over to Discord more often than I do, but you're probably never going to see me hanging out in Discord all the time, because really it's mainly for gaming, for what I use it for, and I don't game really very often at all. So you won't see me on Discord very much. I have a subreddit. I have a DistroTube subreddit. I don't advertise it on the channel. I never tell you guys about my subreddit, because that's not really... I didn't create that subreddit to engage you guys over on Reddit. It was mainly for SEO purposes, just another place for me to post links to my YouTube videos. It's the only reason I have that subreddit. Now, if you guys want to comment on my subreddit, that's fine. I will engage you over on Reddit, because I actually do use Reddit. I probably check out Reddit 2 or 3 times a day, so if you message me over on Reddit or comment on one of my posts over on Reddit in the DistroTube subreddit, you'll get a response. I do check Reddit pretty regularly, but still, my social network of choice for engaging you guys in the last couple of months, very quickly, Mastodon. It has become my preferred social network of choice. I recommend it to you guys all the time. I tell you guys every chance I get about Mastodon. Mastodon is fantastic. Mastodon is everything that Facebook and Twitter never were. Friendly community, knowledgeable, no fighting, no bickering. It's not this hate machine. It's not this drama machine. Mastodon is just fantastic. A lot of good free and open source software discussions over on Mastodon, at least the instance I'm on, mastodon.technology. A lot of talk about Linux and BSD and free software, open source software, a lot of tech related discussion. So Mastodon, that has become my preferred social network of choice. So if you want to engage me outside of YouTube, you want to find me and want to get a quick response, Mastodon has really become where I spend most of my time, if I want to spend time, doing social networking. Now that said, I just told you that I have not treated social networking the way I should, and really the only one I hang out is Mastodon. One that I didn't mention at all, Patreon, because Patreon really is a social platform too. Patreon, well, I am really disappointed in myself how I have treated Patreon as a product, as a platform, and how I've treated my patrons. I rarely post on Patreon. I never do anything on Patreon. The only time I go to Patreon is when people message me on Patreon. If a patron messages me, I get a notification, and I'll go over to Patreon and read what they had to say, answer them if I need to. But I don't post any content to Patreon. I never write any blogs over on Patreon, and I don't post videos for patrons only. I don't lock anything behind Patreon. And part of the problem with that is when I signed up for Patreon initially, I didn't know anything about it. I just, people were recommending, hey, you need a Patreon page. If you want to get donations, want people to support your channel financially, you have to have Patreon. Didn't know much about the product. I expected not to like the product too. From a philosophical point of view, I had some reservations about Patreon as a platform. So that's part of the reason why I didn't take Patreon seriously initially. The other thing is I didn't like the idea of locking content away behind a paywall. A lot of YouTubers do that. They basically hold their content hostage until you pay them this ransom. I don't like the idea of paywalls. Now, locking content behind a paywall makes financial sense in some circumstances, but for me, I want the most eyes on my content as possible. I want the most eyes on my Linux content. I want to spread awareness about Linux, free software, open source software, and locking content away behind a paywall. Antithetical to that goal, so I never want to become a paywall. Also, I didn't like how Patreon, to me, seems like it's a beggar's forum, right? It's just a beggar's bazaar going on over there. Everybody is begging for money. And some people, that seems like that's all they do is beg for money. They're never, sharing knowledge or any kind of real content or doing anything other than begging for money. There are way too many YouTube channels that focus heavily on this begging aspect. Begging for patrons, begging for donations, begging for subscriptions. Some people will make a 10-minute YouTube video with 5 minutes of it begging for patron donations. I think that's in poor taste. I think that's unprofessional. It's just not a good look. I don't ever want to look like that. In my opinion, you may as well be sitting at a busy intersection with a cardboard sign begging for money or panhandling on the street if you're going to treat your YouTube channel like that. I don't think you need to do that either. I think if you offer something worthy, patrons will come. And this is the real issue. What was I offering? Well, I was offering nothing to my patrons. So I do have to apologize to all my current patrons and all my past patrons. I really didn't do anything for you guys. And I admit that. I've not treated you guys the way you deserve to be treated, because honestly, you guys are the reason I'm here, and you guys are the reason that this show is what it is. Because without your support, I wouldn't have a lot of the equipment that I've already purchased for the show, and a lot of the shows I've created would not have been possible without the support from my patrons. So I do want to apologize to you guys. I was not offering anything to you guys, at least not anything of value. Yeah, I would add your name to the credits of the show, do some other little stuff like that, but that's not anything that anybody would place real value in, right? Anybody can do that. What was I really offering you of value? Nothing. So, going forward, let's talk about changes. I'm going to focus heavily on Patreon going forward because I think it deserves some focus, right? My patrons deserve some focus. The people paying the bills ultimately deserve my attention and my focus. So what can I offer you guys, the patrons? Well, tangible products. They're kind of out of the question. I can't offer you anything physical. Why? It's because of cost, right? Even if the product itself costs nothing, shipping, especially when you talk about worldwide shipping, unless you're a very high tier patron, you're paying probably anything less than $30 a month would be not worth it to send somebody a physical product, even if the product itself costs nothing, just because of shipping costs and time involved. So tangible products, out of the question. Digital products would be more appropriate. Ultimately, though, what can I offer you guys? What do I produce? I produce content, right? So what can I offer you, the patron, as a perk? Content, right? That's what I have to offer you guys. Now, how do I do this without becoming a paywall? Well, first, if I do patron-only shows, I put something behind Patreon, any of my shows, all patron-only shows will be published on YouTube eventually. I'm not ever going to lock anything away on Patreon forever. If I do patron-only shows, which is the goal, is the plan actually right now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, I'm going to start doing some patron-only shows, but anything I post for patrons over on Patreon, they will be available on YouTube 1 week later, so just a few days, right? Secondly, anything I post over on Patreon as far as patron-only shows, none of that stuff will be time-sensitive information. I won't do like a news show over on Patreon or anything, that's very time-sensitive. I won't do, when Ubuntu has their new release in October, 1810. You know, I won't do my 1810 review and put it over on Patreon because that's kind of a time sensitive review, right? A lot of people, you know, thousands of people will be looking for that review right away, and it doesn't make sense to lock something like that behind Patreon. So I'll probably do more educational stuff as far as patron only videos, tutorials, that kind of thing, or maybe some things that are, you know, off the beaten path kind of topics, you know, maybe things about my personal life even, you know, things like that. Content I normally wouldn't put on YouTube, maybe put some of that over on Patreon. But again, everything I put on Patreon will be available on YouTube 1 week later. So what are some of the changes I'm planning on? Well, let me go to my Patreon page. The tiers. I have tiers here. I have created 4 tiers: Linux Noob, Linux Enthusiast, Command Line Wizard, Lead Hacker. $1, $5, $10, $20 per month for subscriptions, right? And what do you get for those subscriptions? Well, you're getting some of what you were already getting, such as your name added to the credits of the video. Again, that's not really anything, but what I think I'm going to start offering to patrons, again, I'm going to do some patron-only shows, but really one of the immediate things I'm going to do is once a month, I'm going to do a patron-only video chat live on YouTube. So I'll do one of my Zoom chats, except instead of being the normal free and open chat, anybody can join the video conference call. It will be for me and my patrons only. Any of you guys that are currently subscribed to me over on Patreon can join me on this once a month video chat live stream. And what I think I'm going to do is I'll probably do this. Sundays are the best day for me to try to schedule something as far as on a regular date, weekly basis or monthly basis. So I think the first Sunday of every month, I'm going to do this patrons only live stream, video chat live stream. So we're already on September 8th, so I missed the first Sunday of September. So tomorrow's Sunday. Tomorrow, September 9th, Sunday, September 9th. I will do a patron-only video chat tomorrow. I will actually send a message out via YouTube, so all my YouTube subscribers get this. I will also message everybody over on Patreon, so everybody over on Patreon gets this. But tomorrow I will do a live stream, a live video chat for me and my patrons only. We'll start doing this once a month. I think that's a great way to engage with patrons, other than just engaging them over on Patreon, actually engaging them face to face, you know, on a live stream. So I think that's one thing I'm going to do. Since I have 4 tiers of patrons, I think I'm also going to do 4 patron-only videos a month, 1 for each tier level. So if you're at the $1 level, you will get one $1 patron-only video each month. Now, if you're at the $5 tier level, you will get a $5 tier level patron-only video that month. You will also be able to, of course, view the $1 only video, etc., etc. So I will create 4 videos, patron-only videos, over on Patreon every month. The highest tier, of course, we'll get to view all 4. The next highest tier will only get to view 3 of them. The second lowest tier gets to view 2 of them, etc. And the $1 tier, you guys get 1 a month. So that's how I'm going to do that. So again, the only thing I really have to offer as a perk, as a real perk, is content. So I'm going to start doing that content. 4 patron-only videos a month for each tier level. And then, of course, I'm going to do the once a month live video chat for patrons only. That won't be locked away behind Patreon for any length of time. That will be live on YouTube, but the only people that will be able to join me live on the conference call will be patrons. So that's some of the new perks. I also am going to try to make it a point to post more periodically over on Patreon, as far as, you know, just occasionally doing like a quick blog post or something. You know, if I can find a few minutes every day to toot over on Mastodon, I can find a few minutes to post on the platform that actually funds this channel. I think you guys deserve that over on Patreon, and I think that's something that needs to happen. So I'm going to try to be a lot more active over on Patreon starting today. So why? Because Patreon has really become a godsend. Patreon is what funds this channel. It's what bought all the equipment for this channel. Well, it didn't buy all of it, but it paid for a substantial percentage of the bill for the equipment that I've bought for this channel. I have spent over $3,000, I think, on equipment for the channel, for audio equipment, video equipment, computer parts, and everything else. I've spent a lot of money on the channel. That would not have been close to being possible without the support from the past and present patrons. So again, I do want to apologize. Again, I haven't treated you guys with as much respect as you deserve. I also want to thank you guys for everything you've done to help make this channel what it is. I've grown to respect Patreon as far as a platform, as a business model, and because of that, I have to start taking it serious. I have to start taking this much more seriously than I have been. So I'm going to put a lot more time and energy into Patreon. I have to. Because ultimately, Patreon, again, it pays the bills, and ultimately Patreon provides a path forward where I don't have to rely on Google and YouTube AdSense for revenue. Maybe one day I won't even need YouTube at all. Who knows? That's further down the road, but wouldn't that be nice? Patreon provides a lot of potential opportunities down the road if, again, I put some time and effort into it, and I focus on the community over there, which I've been neglecting. So now some of the goals for my Patreon page. You guys can read some of the goals. I've got a couple of different goal levels: $1,000 per month goal, $2,500 per month goal. Anyway, you guys that want to help me out over on Patreon, other than some of the perks you get, I mentioned as far as some of the content that I'm going to provide. Some of my personal goals, I need better equipment for the channel. Obviously, I just mentioned I spent almost $3,000 on video equipment and audio equipment for the channel. Still got to have better equipment, though. And ultimately, if I want to take this serious and be professional in quality, I have to have better equipment than I currently have. Certainly have to have better audio equipment. I need better video equipment, need better computer. Now, I'm going to need more storage. I need a proper website, which I currently don't have at all. I've got a lot of things that are going to require funding. Also, the more success I have over on Patreon, the less time I have to work at my real job. The less time I have to work at my real job, the more time I have for the channel. Also, the ultimate goal, of course, is working full-time on this channel. Building a proper studio, having regularly scheduled programs, something I'm not able to do now because of my rotating work schedule. So ultimately, that is the goal. I'd like to end this video first, though, again, with an apology. I have not engaged with the community the way I should, and especially the community over on Patreon. I really apologize. I missed the ball completely on that, guys. I'm sorry about that. I know a couple of you guys have told me recently that I just haven't been doing anything over there, and you wish I'd spend more time over there. And I completely agree. You're right. Again, sincere apology, heartfelt apology. I'm going to start being a lot more engaged over on Patreon. I know I haven't been there as much as I should. As far as the community in general, I haven't been engaging really the way I should outside of YouTube. I do comment a lot on my YouTube videos when you guys comment on that, but all the social media, and especially on Patreon, you guys pay the bills. I owe it to you guys to do more than what I've been doing. I'd also like to thank everybody that has supported the channel in the short time that it's been on the air. Again, 11 months today, so not even a year. The community we have already over on YouTube, it's the best. I have the best YouTube community, bar none. It's not even close. When you guys read the comments over on the YouTube videos, the knowledge you guys share is just amazing. Sometimes I glean more knowledge from the comments on my videos than what you guys probably get from watching my video, the knowledge I share on camera. Also, the feedback I get from you guys, the positive feedback you give, it drives me. The criticisms, I mean, you guys often criticize things I do, but, in a positive way. That criticism makes a lot of difference. If you guys don't tell me what I'm getting wrong, I have no idea, right? YouTube is a job. It's a real job. A lot of hours. Thousands of hours have already went into what I've done on the YouTube channel. So many YouTubers burn out. They quit after a while. Why? Because it's work. It's hard work. It's frustrating. It breaks you down. And I hope to be in this for the long haul. And to be honest, if it wasn't for the community behind my channel, I'd probably thrown in the towel long ago. But you guys are what really drive me. You guys really make me strive to be better at this. Again, it's all the positive energy that you guys give me. So I do want to thank each and every one of my viewers. You guys rock. And before I go, this show was made possible by the highest tier of supporters over on Patreon, Ansem, Carlos, and David. This is a new perk too. Those of you in the $20 a month tier, you guys are the producers of the show. You guys will get prominent position here on my closing credits, and of course you will get your name mentioned. Also, the show is brought to you by a ton of other Patreon subscribers. I do want to thank each and every one of you guys. Again, you guys make this show possible. You guys rock. Peace.